Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Gustavo. I work at IMDT, talking from Brazil, and I will present the status of GraphQL migration, the status and the roadmap, uh, along with Ramón. So, just to start, I want to comment that this idea was born almost exactly 1 year ago and almost at the same place. It was in the last developer summit in Berlin. And during the summit, we started a prototype, testing the concept and the idea and feasibility to use GraphQL in BBB. So the challenge about this new idea was to replace the technologies. So we were using Meter and MongoDB as database, and now we intend to use GraphQL. Then Hasura will help us to provide data through GraphQL, and the database now will be PostgreSQL. So this is a transition we have been working last year. And so during this year, we had to plan how the migration would go. So the first step was to migrate the database. So we had a lot of collections that were provided by MongoDB. So we need to migrate it. So now we created a lot of tables in Postgre database to store the same that was in MongoDB. And Postgre have a slightly different approach. And now we have this entity relationship. We have a bunch of tables and relation among them, and we also try to plan the tables in a way you can gain performance and creating a lot of indexes in the tables. Then this way the database will be really fast, and maybe you can gain a lot of performance compared to MongoDB. And we have all this data in the Postgre database, and you need to provide it through GraphQL. So the platform you are using for it is Hasura, and it's really easy. We just say, okay, track this table, and we want to share these columns of this table, and Hasura does all the rest of the job. So we can very quickly provide the data through GraphQL. Okay, so this was the first step, migrate the database. So the second step was start to migrate the React components. So we know that it's a lot of work, so it's not possible to migrate everything in BBB 3.0. So we just focus in reduce the dependency of Meter, reduce the use of MongoDB, and we also started to introduce TypeScript. So yeah, this is our focus for 3.0. And the other aims, Ramón will talk later. So yeah, basically the front end guys started to remove the Mongo queries from the code and start to use GraphQL, and they also made a refactor. So the idea is to have less rules and decisions in the front end, and a lot of these decisions is now placed in the GraphQL. So the front end just like render the components and don't have a lot of rules in its code. And okay, the third step that we identified was the meter call. This is a thing that we really don't meter right now, and last days we start to migrate it to a different approach. So this is the approach we use. That is, the client send a message using Meteor call, and then Meteor receive this message and create a Redis message. Then Meteor sends this red message. AKApps can handle this message and say, okay, you can do this action, and then return another message, and Meteor will handle this message, and then we will insert the result in the MongoDB. So it's our current approach. But if you want to eliminate Meteor and MongoDB, we will need to find some alternative. So what we find that will solve this problem for us is also using Hasura. Hasura has an option that's called Hasura Actions. And one good thing about it is that we already have this WebSocket connection with Hasura that is used to fetch data. And then we can also use the same connection to send actions. So it's a great benefit. We would do everything using only one WebSocket connection. So just to show how simple it is, in Hasura, you can create an action, and then you say, okay, this action will receive this parameter. This parameter is required, and that's it. Then we also in Hasura, you say, okay, this will be the webhook handler. So Hasura just received the mutation through GraphQL and forward this action to another application. And this is the application that we are working right now. That is called BBB GraphQL Actions Adapter Server. So it's an application that Thiago started, and it's created using Node as language, Node.js. Just an example how it works. This is the action send group chat message. So this function receives the Hasura variables, so we can know the meaning of the user and the user ID who sent this action. And we also can get the inputs, the parameters of the function. So this, for example, the message the user is sending, and then it gets these values and create a Redis message. This message is called send group chat message, and then it send a message to AKApps. So now the new approach is like this. Client sent a message to Hasura using Hasura Actions. Then it forward to this new application. This new application creates a Redis message, and then go to AKApps, and AKApps insert this message into the database. So this is the new flow we are working right now. And yeah, so that's basically it that we are working. So Ramón will talk a little bit about the roadmap.
So as Gustavo said, we decided to do this migration in 3 parts. On 3.0, we have less Mongo collections and Meteor code, and parts of the client will be refactored to use TypeScript. And on 3.1, everything related to Meteor is going to be removed, but we'll still have some components that will not be using TypeScript. And finally, on 3.2, the plan is to have everything migrated to GraphQL and TypeScript. Right now, we already have many of the main parts of the client using GraphQL, like the presentation area, the chat, and the user list. And we started removing some of the code that it's not needed anymore. So
Hey,
I'm going to show you.
Are you sharing your screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
should have the presenter. Just a second. It's a bit complex to do both. Yeah, it's showing now. Here's a list of the remaining steps to do on the migration. Some of the tasks that we need so the code can be removed. And there's also a list of the remaining Mongo collections and what components need to be migrated before we can remove them. Right now, there are 9 collections that are already removed, 20 more to be removed on 3.0, and 13 left to be removed on 3.1. Some of these collections are more difficult to be removed, like the users collection, which is used everywhere in the client. So these ones will only be removed on 3.1. I would like to thank you all for your time. That's it.